It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Monday, the 13th of January. I'm Michael Groff. Yeah, it's a rather cold start to the day out there today. Temperatures below average for this afternoon, and another cold night tonight with a freeze warning in effect, but warmer temperatures for tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. But the weekend is looking a bit interesting. We do see another round of cooler air coming into the southwest. How cold will it get? Do we have another possibility of a freeze? What about some rain chances? Yes, we could desperately use that precipitation. Will we find any? We'll figure it out as we dive on in and discuss all of that and everything else too. But first, here's that almanac from yesterday. 65 degrees was the afternoon high, 37 the morning low, and that's at Sky Harbor Airport. Many of you were down near or even below freezing yesterday morning, just as you are this morning. We'll show you that in just a second. 67 and 46 are the averages for this time of year. And looking outside right now, it's 7:45 a.m. The sun is up over the valley. Ooh, but it's still cool out there. 37 degrees officially at Sky Harbor, and it's very dry. Dew points at 14, humidity 38%, wind light, and the barometer is steady. Let's take a look at temperatures across the area this morning. 23 degrees at Goldfield, 23 at Fort McDowell. It's in the upper 20s for places like Queen Creek, South Chandler, South Mountain Park. And we're around freezing or even below freezing out in parts of the West Valley, 31 in Buckeye. Here at Studio B, we're checking in at 33 degrees. And we have temperatures near 40 in a few spots. There's a 17 on that map. I doubt that's valid. That's that one wild gauge that's way up there in North Phoenix. But regardless, you can see we're generally in the mid-20s to mid and upper 30s across most of the valley. And now these temperatures will warm up. We'll be in the upper 50s and low 60s for highs this afternoon, but expect a repeat of these readings overnight tonight. Satellite picture shows you high pressure is sitting around here to the west of us. A dry northerly to northwesterly flow is in place, and that's helping to bring down more of that cool air advection. And we're not going to see much change in this weather pattern. That ridge will slide a little further east and provide somewhat warmer temperatures tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, but then another system will dive on in. The watch warning map, we do have a freeze warning over much of south central and southeast Arizona, including much of Maricopa, Pinal, Pima, Santa Cruz, Graham, Greenlee, Cochise, and Gila counties in Arizona, as well as Yuma and La Paz have been in those freeze warnings the last couple of nights. Now we have wind advisories, red flag warnings over parts of Southern California. And unfortunately, the winds are going to start picking back up down there again. And just the wildfire situation is, it's a bit better than it has been. And the winds are certainly not as gusty as they have been, but we will see another round of gusty winds today and especially tomorrow. And then we'll start to see an easing of those strong gusty winds by Wednesday and Wednesday night. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second as well. Elsewhere across the country, things are fairly quiet. Some winter weather advisories over the central Great Lakes. Convective outlook for today. No organized severe weather across the nation. Here's the precipitation outlook valid through Monday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, not much. If we see anything at all, it will be very, very little. Maybe a trace, maybe 1 or 200ths of an inch. Any precipitation confined just to the north and east of Phoenix, and even at that, not much. And this is a questionable scenario even at that. And we'll talk about that and everything else as we get into the models here. See what the future may hold. Here we go. The GFS, this is the 06Z run, and this is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. All right. We've got another little short wave coming down the California coast, very highly positively tilted, almost at a 90-degree angle. And then you've got shortwave energy over the northern plain states and troughing into the Great Lakes in the northeast, and a ridge off to the north and west of that. And what it means for us down at the surface for the rest of the day today, sunny sky, but another cool day ahead. Highs upper 50s and low 60s. The average high for today, 67 degrees. We will be just a bit, we'll be a few at least degrees below that. Now for tonight, with clear sky and very dry air, overnight lows will drop into the upper 20s in the cold spots, mid and upper 30s in the urban cores. So we do have that freeze warning in effect from midnight tonight through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So another night to cover up your plants in many areas. Now, I know some of you that are in that freeze warning will not actually get below freezing. If you're in downtown Phoenix, you are technically in the freeze warning, but you are not going to see temperatures at or below 32 degrees. Still, for most of you, you generally know where you are in the valley in terms of away from that urban core, that center of that urban heat island. If you're in the traditionally cooler spots, yeah, go ahead and cover up those plants again tonight. But that should be the last night, at least for a while. But maybe not for the rest of the season. We'll talk about it here in just a second. Let's go to tomorrow. All right, sunny sky will warm it up a bit. High temperatures, mid-60s or so. And we will see some breezy conditions, especially over northern Arizona, but further to the west over Nevada and Southern California. The winds will be gusty at times as the pressure gradient tightens up once again, developing low pressure to the west. High pressure sits to the north. So let's take a look at these wind gusts. These are peak wind gusts coming off the HRRR tomorrow at noon. And this is, or 11 a.m. Pacific time, noon our time. And this is these are the winds at 10 meters, okay? This is up about 32 feet off the ground, okay? So, these numbers are a little bit higher than what you'll see at the ground, but not by much. So we will see wind gusts 20, 30, 40 miles per hour in parts of Southern California and the LA basin. Some of those canyons will see the gustiest winds, as you see here. And we'll probably see some peak gusts at about 50 miles per hour. Now, that's not going to be sustained winds. That's not going to be all day, but we could see wind gusts around 50 miles per hour. And for a situation like we have in Southern California, where these fires, yes, we're starting to get better containment on these, but they are still burning. And we still have a number of fires, a number of these fire lines that still need to be contained, and they're trying their best to control these and get ahead of the fire line there. But it's tough when you've got these gusty winds out of the north and northeast, and so those embers will be flying around, and it is very, very difficult to fight a fire when you have wind gusts at 40 and 50 and 60 miles an hour. Now, luckily, I think 50, maybe low 50 mile per hour wind gusts will be about as high as they get tomorrow. Let's hope that's it. But always the possibility of maybe an isolated stronger gust. So be aware of that. Obviously, those red flag warnings are in effect there. And that's going to be a problem. And not just in the LA basin, but really across much of Southern California. So the other risk, not only do you have the smoke, but you also have blowing dust over the open deserts as well. And even outside of the LA basin, the fire danger across all of Southern California and really over the greater Southwest in general remains very high because the air is extremely dry. We are in a prolonged drought here. Southern California hasn't seen much measurable rain in the last 8 or 9 months. Not to mention, the region is really in a 25 to 30-year drought. So the groundwater levels are low, the soil moisture levels are low, the vegetation moisture levels are very low. So all of these are combining just to make for a very, very bad situation. Anyway, so that is the situation with the wind for tomorrow, again in Southern California. All right, getting back to us on Wednesday, we will start to see the pressure gradient relax. Now, still some gusty winds possible, maybe 30, 35 mile per hour wind gusts for Southern California for us. Light breeze at times. High temperatures should top out in the upper 60s to maybe low 70s. And those overnight lows are going to be coming up. We'll still be down in the 30s in the cold spots, but low 40s, maybe mid 40s in the urban core. And then here's Thursday, highs around 70. The sky mostly sunny. The air is dry. Let's go to Friday. Got an upper low developing to the west. Now, there's forecast uncertainty as to the ultimate evolution of this weather pattern, but as it stands right now, looks like we'll see a few clouds in here on Thursday and Friday. High temperatures will fall back to the mid 60s or so, maybe mid and upper 60s, mid 60s on Saturday. And let's talk about Sunday. All right, this upper low comes through, kind of weakens, dampens out a bit, and gets absorbed by a broader trough that's diving in through the Intermountain West. Kind of an inside slider type feature. It's not going to have a lot of moisture. There could be enough moisture and dynamic support and cold air aloft to squeeze out a couple of showers here across central and eastern Arizona, including Phoenix. We do not have that in the forecast right now, but technically there is a small chance of a shower. At this stage, at least here in the Phoenix area, I'm going to keep the forecast dry until we really see some better evidence of even marginal chances of precipitation. And even over the higher terrain of northern and eastern Arizona, I don't expect much in terms of precipitation chances. Yes, there could be a few rain and snow showers, but it's not going to be a washout or it's not going to be a blizzard. It'll barely be enough to measure in all probability. Now, things can change, and we'll keep an eye on it, but that's how the weekend looks right now. Breezy conditions and cooler temperatures. Now, here's where we get more interesting again, too. For Sunday, highs will probably drop all the way back down into the upper 50s and low 60s. Because you note there that 1028 millibar high over southeast Idaho, another round of the cold air coming on down. And so Sunday night into Monday morning, we could see another very cold night with lows probably at or below freezing in the colder valley spots. So there might be another opportunity for a freeze, at least in some areas, late next weekend and into early, or this coming weekend and into early next week. Let's keep going. This is next week, Monday, the 20th. And look at that broad trough over a good portion of the eastern 2/3 of the country. And we're on the backside, so northerly flow is in place, ridging off the coast. And again, this could lead to another round of gusty winds over Southern California. You don't want to hear about that. Hopefully we have better fire containment in Southern California by then, because we will see another round of gusty winds. Maybe not as bad as we've seen recently, but still gusty winds possible. For us, breezy conditions and pretty chilly too. Highs likely only in the upper 50s and low 60s. And again, lows will be down in the 30s in most spots and probably upper 20s in the coldest desert areas. But of course, here in Arizona, these cold weather events don't last that long, because as we go out 10 days, this is Wednesday, the 22nd. High pressure is nosing in, a northwesterly flow aloft. The heights are coming back up, so temperatures would be rebounding quite a bit. Now, it's still dry, and I would still expect cool nights, but probably not freezing. Lows probably upper 30s to mid 40s or so. Highs will get back to around 70. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. This goes out through the 27th of the month, and you can pretty much forget it. The ensemble mean is well under 1/10 of an inch. Most members show nothing. Same deal with the European ensemble. We've seen this trend back once again toward much drier conditions, and that's bad news. Look, it is becoming more and more likely that we're going to see that streak, our all-time driest streak, our all-time record for most consecutive days without measurable rain, getting broken here. And if we get to the end of the month, that will happen. So what are we at? 144 days, I believe. So now I think we're in second place for the on that list of dry streaks here in Phoenix. I was trying to pull up that list while I was talking to you, but I don't have it here. Now, I will, I'll check on that to make sure, but I do believe we are now in second place for the greatest number of consecutive days without measurable rain. All right, let's take a look at temperatures off the national blend of models. And yep, we are going to warm it up a little bit as we go to tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, then cool it off again. Look, Sunday, Monday, getting highs low 60s or so, lows down in the 30s. And then again, we'll probably see temperatures rebound a bit by late next week. And that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, then be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. Make those monetary contributions to us, or you can donate directly via PayPal. Groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's GROFFshow@gmail.com for PayPal. I should also note on these temperatures, again, these are at Sky Harbor. Your number is almost certainly going to be lower in the overnight hours than what is shown here. All right, the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my one and only, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona. Talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything Michelle related and tangentially Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description. Also, what's linked up is our streaming station. It's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. And of course, you can click on the links in the description, or you can just go directly to kmgx.com and listen to it. What is that station? What do we do there? It's the most chaotic mix of music you'll ever hear, including songs like this. There you go. That's all we can play. Otherwise, we risk getting demonetized, and that sort of defeats the purpose of this video. All right. Or at least in part it does. I know, I wouldn't make my $2.82. That's on a good day. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Please be safe out there, and you guys have yourselves a beautiful Monday.